Welcome everyone from South Africa, where I'm in Johannesburg, staying at my son's apartment. And the weather is a bit similar to the UK, between being warm and then quite chilly. So it's good to see you. And for those who are watching the recording, hope you enjoy it, but don't overextend. We're going to do the Sahibi Kriya, which works a lot with the third center. So it's holding our strength. So let's get straight into it and come into easy pose and settle down. There's quite a lot of traffic noise outside, so I hope that my microphone, you don't pick up the external noise. So welcome to this day on the 14th of April. Welcome back to those who've been traveling, and we send blessings to those who are unable to be with us. As far as my life is concerned, and I think this is a big truth, there is nothing more, nothing less than relationship. We're in relationship to all things. And as humans or as mammals, we deeply need to be connected with other people, which is true in the whole animal kingdom, well, the mammalian kingdom. But how do I know my boundary when I'm part of the stardust? If you saw the full moon last night, it was so beautiful. And for the first time, I saw the rabbit in the moon. And as I looked at the moon, it was nearly too bright for my eyes. We're in relationship with the moon. We're in moon cycles. We call the woman's periods, it's in a moon cycle. We're in relationship to the planets, the whole universe. We're in relationship to nature. Without nature, we could not survive. We're in relationship with the elements. Without water or sun or light, we cannot survive. But how do we know our boundary where I end and you begin? And that's really what we're going to be working on today. And the key to this is that to know my boundary is not to be against your boundary. But if I do not have a skin around me, my guts fall out, I bleed, I suffer, and I'm in pain. So this is all about having a good skin, but a semi-permeable skin, like osmosis, where we can absorb, but we still hold our boundary. And to keep myself safe with a boundary and a skin is of huge importance. Something I've struggled with, and I think I grew up struggling with that. And when I keep myself safe and I take responsibility for my well-being, you then become safe. Because your safety also depends on me being regulated and safe in my space. So we're going to hold this as an intention using the mantra Sat Nam. Just truth is my identity. I am me, I am you. We are one. But I also have a boundary. But it's not a hard boundary. And it's not got a barbed wire fence around it. It's a semi-permeable membrane. So coming and sitting in this human body, feeling the skin. You might want to touch the skin over your body, feeling into the boundary of this that makes you. Settling in, feeling your tailbone rooted into the earth. That as you live on this earth as part of the ecosystem, we do not invade another or steal another's space, but we also hold on to the space that we have. And we know what happens when parasites start to strangle a plant. They suck all the energy out of it until it has no boundary and it dies. So holding our own boundary through the tailbone, down into the earth, sitting up tall, holding your space. And as you drop your shoulders down and back, feeling your chest open like a flower in the sun, knowing that you have a right to live fully in your own body, expanding yourself, sitting, pulling yourself more upright to hold the space, to inhabit it. Feeling into your knees, your legs, noticing any part of you that is feeling compromised. And bring other parts of you in this hugely healing body that we have, complex and self-healing. Bring attention to any part of your boundary that you feel has been violated. And breathe into it. Breathing deeper, right down into the base of the belly. Softening your face, feeling comfortable in your own skin. Coming more and more at home with who you are, who you always were, as someone unique and yet also the same. And before we tune in, let's do a sweeping arc with our hands, starting on the earth, with the grounding coming right up, holding our own space up to the top, stretching up, holding the breath, pulling the root lock to draw yourself up to your full height with dignity, without fear, and dropping your hands down through the center to the heart. Feeling your hands push together, the warmth, the pulse, the life within you. And vow to not allow parasites to steal your energy. And I'm not talking about people, I'm talking about any energies that it might be people, to hold a boundary around yourself. But this parasitic energy which can sap our own, holding our own peace, our own stability. Rubbing your hands together, just using that friction that we need for our own survival. We need friction because that's movement. We don't make or destroy energy. Energy's there, but we're activating the energy now through the hands, bringing it back to the heart center. And let's take one deep breath, deeply in and out, and then in to begin. Om Namo Gurudev Namo No. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Breathe in. Suspend the breath, pulling the muladhara up through the anus, sex organs, but also down. So bringing it right down into the core center of who we are, not letting it leak too far up. And release. So we're going to just start with a few warm-ups. Let's start with a bit of camel riding. So moving the spine forward and back. Breathing in as you come forward and out as you go back. Staying very much in the core of your being, allowing the lower chakras to feel the rocking movement of the awakening of the Kundalini energy, and the upper chakras to come down to join at the crossroads, at right here and at the center point. And now letting the whole upper body, the torso, move with it, with the shoulders holding onto your ankles. Stay in your body. This whole set is about staying in our own boundary. Expanding and then contracting. You might want to move your head as well as you expand, lifting your chin up, and as you contract, bringing it down to the chest. Being present and witnessing your own boundary. Using the breath and that Satnam. You may recognize in the repetitive movement where you've given your boundary away, because it'll show up in an emotion. And come back to the center. Hands on your knees. We're just going to roll our shoulders, recognizing when our boundary has been invaded. Just releasing the energy of that. Whenever our boundary is invaded, there's generally a sense of anger, sadness, collapse, retreat. Just allowing this not to be against those emotions, these surviving emotions, these surviving behaviors that try to keep us safe, and changing your shoulders in the opposite direction. A few shoulder drops. Hands in front now, the right hand behind the left hand, just holding very firmly. And we're going to slice through the front of holding our boundary again, holding it in front of us, before us, feeling the strength of the energy in front, using a strong breath, working the upper torso before we drop down into the lower three. And on the out breath, really push it down to the ground. Feeling yourself lifting and then dropping down into your own space. And release that. Again, roll the shoulders. Another one to hold our space, hands in front, reaching out, and then coming forward, reaching out, coming forward, holding the auric space, using your breath to power you. You can soften the arms for this. Let your arms dance in the space between you and the world, holding your space, clearing the space. And coming back down. Let's just do a twist. So one hand behind, the other hand over the knee, reaching round, dropping the shoulders, and to the other side. Coming to the center, a part of, as we do this Kriya, it's recognizing where you are in your body. And as we've done these few warm-up exercises, stay in your body. Don't fly away. Stay in the wisdom and the knowledge of your body. Breathing long and deep. Feeling safe in your own body. And now we're going to start the set. So let's come to lying. I'm on my son's camping mattress. So stay connected as I connect through this camping, hiking mattress. I'm connecting not just to my energy, but actually his energy too. But the subtlety of this set is about holding our energy without it being invaded, and yet being soft and recognizing I do not exist outside the collective. So lying down on our back, we're going to do double leg lifts. Now, putting your hands, I suggest, under your bum. And we're going to use a mouth breath through open, rounded lips. So it's a strong breath. So get into this. You may want to bend your knees, or you could do the full extension of breathing in as you come up. Your feet are flexed. So you're putting a lot of working the sciatic nerve coming down the back of the legs, the life nerve, and breathing out through the rounded lips on as it comes down. But if you want to do it less strenuously, bend your knees coming up, and you might be able to keep them extended going down. This movement. And just keep going and notice. So we are observing our own body, our own strength, pushing the navel point right into the ground. So we're holding, being anchored through the navel. Don't let your back arch, or you can do lower back damage. Being fully present to what is within the boundary of your own skin. Feel the pressure on each leg as it goes up and down. Become a detective of your own body. If you need to take a break, do. Just imagine when you take a break, imagine yourself doing the movement, holding on to the center the more we can surrender to the movement without tension, the easier it becomes. Softening your shoulders down, relaxing the head down, completely focusing on the core strength. And release down, relax. Notice which muscles are tense or have worked hard. And see the subtle difference between actual tension and actually how your muscles are working. We're mastering here our own domain. We're balancing, strengthening, and aligning. So as we go into the next exercise, just keep relaxing for the moment. Notice this balancing, the strengthening, and the aligning of our energetic body with our physical, with the tension that we hold in our physical body. So now we're going into alternate leg lifts. So as we do them alternately, you'll notice that there'll be an imbalance, but just recognize it, notice it, observe it, and allow your body to align itself. Keeping your hands under your bum, the same breath through puckered lips, and keeping the mantra silently, Sat Nam. Pushing down into the Manipura, that third center. Holding your strength. Keeping your feet flexed. Notice what's happening on your shoulders, your upper back. Notice it. Notice where the tension automatically goes. One of the good things about Kundalini Kriyas is that we do repetitions. So when we get used to doing what we're doing physically, we can become the observer of the actual exercise. And then we observe the breath and how the Sat Nam is landing in you, your own DNA, your own Akashic records, your own energy field, which is separate from others, but not against another. We're invaded by other energies, often when someone else needs our energy, and the wisdom then, or the skill, is to let it flow through rather than having our energy sucked from us, having an eternal source of energy that can replenish. But we also find our energy or our borders invaded when there's things that are not for good intention, and we become frightened, or we become very angry. Holding our boundary without violence and recognizing that we are invaded, our skin gets cut. and trusting that our body does know. So much of this holding our own domain is when we're not witnessed for who we are and our own boundary, when it's violated in one way or another. Just keep the movement going. Witnessing yourself, becoming your own witness. Nearly there. Last one. Pulling your knees into your chest. Holding yourself there. When we have felt invaded over our borders, we'll often go into this position, which is the brace position. To brace ourselves, we all do what we can to survive an invasion, to move away from a self-blame towards a deep sense of compassion for ourselves. And slowly rock yourself backwards and forwards. Distributing the energy. And coming into cat and cow. Balancing, strengthening our own borders. Feeling yourself now, we're going to stay in cow, so our heads are up. And with this position, we're going to lift one leg up and then back, then the other one up and stretching. Keeping Satnam, keeping that O breath through the mouth. Breathing in as your leg comes back and out as it comes down. Engaging that core strength, but now we're exploring the edge of our consciousness, the edge of our own boundary, pushing that foot right out. Your toes now are extending out. Now, if you can, we're going to join alternate arms into the movement, stretching out. You don't have to do it fast. It's going left to right brain. Crossing over. Keeping the Satnam going, claiming your space. So that others can have safe haven. It's not that we claim it to own it. We claim it that we might become safe people in this world. Last few. Last one. Knees apart, coming down into Guru Pranam. Bowing down to the earth, that which sustains us and gives us a sense of security. Balancing and strengthening. Recognizing we belong to the earth, we belong to the stars, we belong to the universe, but we have on earth this particular boundary. And as you are in Guru Pranam, notice your forehead on the earth, your arms stretched in front, again holding your space. Just stay where you are in your body. Don't run away from it. Don't abandon your territory. Hold it with dignity, being a witness to your space. Without a loving witness, our experience of our own boundary becomes very often a shaming experience, and then it turns to a belief. I'm not worthy to hold my space. And slowly come out of Guru Pranam now. We're going to do a few dreaded frogs. And I have to say, I've done damage to my knee, and I think a lot of that is doing too many frogs in the past. So be clear about the parts of your own skin here, your own boundary that need to be protected. Bits of your own system that need support. So there are many ways of doing frogs. Obviously, the traditional one is to come down on your haunches with your heels together, and you breathe in, coming up as your head goes down, and out as you go down. So I do it really slowly these days. You may only be able to come down half. That's also fine. Or you may not be able to do it at all and have to imagine it. Just keep going, feeling your toes on the ground, your heels pressed together. Working very much the thighs now, distributing the energy. Feeling your fingers touching down to the ground. Last few. Last one. And come down to sitting. And observe. Observe your heart beating faster. Notice where your hands just come to rest naturally. See if just touching your two hands together in some way. This is the boundary points of connection between one side and the other. They're separate. The hands are not the same. but they are very connected and they connect right back. Everything is connected. Feeling your breath coming a bit faster now, your heart beating faster, the oxygen through your blood. But most of all, recognize the Sat-Nam of your own boundary, of what you need to feel safe. Without judgment. Sometimes when I feel unsafe, I go back to primitive things like nearly hiding or becoming very small, because that for me in that moment is witnessing maybe a child part of me that needs to feel safe in a corner. Inconspicuous, overlooked, because that feels safe. Witness this, the experimenting with your own boundary without judgment. Eyes looking up to the brow point. Feeling all the contact boundaries, the edges of our own skin. And sometimes when our boundaries are strong and firm and we're feeling safe in particular company, we expand. And our Sat-Nam expands right to the end, the edge of our consciousness. But at other times, we need to shrink it to keep safe. Notice what's happening in your own body. We're coming now to the last exercise, which is putting our hands down to the ground, lifting them up on the in-breath, stretching up, turning our hands round and going down again. Breathing in. Now long, deep breaths through the 2 nostrils. Feeling safe in your own skin, being witnessed. Balancing these energies, the strength, along with our weakness. Strength cannot live without weakness, just as light cannot live without the dark. And we judge weakness. And then we shame ourselves because we think we might be weak. And then we place ourselves planted in a safe environment and watch ourselves opening and flourishing and flowering without fear. Healing yourself now, opening. Last one. Bringing your hands up to the top, holding your hands together, your thumbs out, and we're just holding our own space. We're going to use the Sat-Nam, Sat-Nam, pulling in the navel point and releasing it. This is the truth of who I am. I'm a human bundle of complexity. And the more I recognize what I need, the safer I become. Sat-Nam, 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 Sat Nam. 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 Take a breath in. Pull the Mula Bandha, root lock, pulling the energy now right up through the heart, through all the centers, flourishing in your own energy field, and release down through your auric field. And sitting quietly, meditating on your own Satnam, feeling safe within your own body, with your own boundary, without fear of what others think. And being kind when I do fear what others think, I go back into a more primitive place of feeling safe. Because it's not being judged. Slowing your breath right down, letting your nervous system relax within the boundary of your own domain. Eyes looking up to the brow point, keeping a quiet Satnam. This is who I am. And whether you like it or not, I like who I am. For I was created to be who I am. Now stretching your hands out behind in a Venus lock, lifting your arms up and bowing down as low as you can to this Satnam. And a few of those stretches. Coming back into prayer posture to close with 3 Satnams. Holding it right here between the Manipura and the heart center. This is where our strength lies, when the heart can hold its neutrality, which is love, with a groundedness of who I am. Let's breathe in to chant. Sa Nam. Sa Nam. Sa Nam. And take a bow to who you are. Sat Nam.